In the game Sekiro, when we arrive at the Fountainhead Palace, we encounter an old lady on the way. Approaching her for a conversation, we hear the following dialogue.
なぜ俺に。
お若いお人に一つ頼みがございまして。
なんだ。
我が父は貴族になりましたが、その時恋に見入られてしまいました。もうずっとただ恋に餌をやっています。お若いお人、どうか父を恋の呪縛から解き放ってください。あのような永遠は父の望みではありませんでした。
She explains that her father, enchanted by the palace's monsters, has been feeding the Great Carp. Despite having eternal life, it is not the kind of eternity her father desires. Later, as we reach the central giant Sakura tree and defeat the boss, that releases lightning strikes. Jumping into the water, we encounter another old lady. However, her sash is a different color from the one we met earlier, indicating that they are not the same person.
なぜそのよう。
代理の扉はもう長い間閉じたままです。大事なお使いがあるのですが、このババの身ではどうにも果たしようもなく、お若いお人に代理の扉を開けていただければと。今は水の中、主の恋の寝床になっている大きな洞窟の先が代理への脇道です。そして代理に着いたら、内より扉を開けていただければと大事なお使いがあるのです。
Here, she guides us to open the gates of the palace. Afterward, we dive through the area guarded by the Great Carp, and enter the palace to unlock the gates. Subsequently, we arrive at the Fountainhead Palace and meet the pot noble Korimori. After purchasing items from him twice and engaging in conversation, he rewards us with the truly precious bait. He also warns us about Haranaga, the pot noble at the Hirata estate, describing him as a disgrace to their lineage. Korimori advises us not to believe anything Haranaga says, and not to accept any requests from him. Later, we teleport back to Haranaga, make purchases, and engage in conversation. He also provides us with the same precious bait. He openly expresses his desire to become the new Carp King. Underwater in the Fountainhead Palace, we come across the corpses of other gigantic carp, suggesting that there can only be one Carp King at a time. And underwater, there's not just one carp corpse. Perhaps the same scene has played out numerous times. This may explain why both individuals seek to eliminate the current Carp King. At this point, holding two portions of the truly precious bait, feeding either portion to the Carp King results in its demise. The lifeless body of the Carp King drifts downstream, eventually reaching the sunken valley passage. From its corpse, we retrieve its white whiskers. subsequently presenting the whiskers to the feeding groundsman. He mutters to himself that his duty is accomplished. After resting again, we discover that the feeding groundsman has passed away. By his side, his daughter utters these words.
お疲れ様でした、父様。永遠などなくとも、私も姉様もずっと一緒ですよ。だから休みましょう、父様。
And shortly thereafter, she too succumbs to death. From her final words, we learn that she has another sister, and both sisters strive to bring permanent relief to their father. Since the one with the red sash is the younger sister, the one with the white sash must be the elder sister. Returning to the inner sanctum of the palace once again, we discover that the elder sister has used a small knife to stab the monsters, cursing them for enchanting her father. Overcome with sorrow, she dies at this location.
このよくも測りおったの。何が貴族なものか、永遠なものか。返せ、父よ、父様を返せ。
Fortunately, the sisters' long-held aspirations find resolution as our protagonist, Sekiro, arrives. He assists them in achieving their heartfelt desires. The story in Hidetaka Miyazaki's games often seems to revolve around a recurring theme. Is eternal life truly a beautiful concept? Characters like Korimori and Haranaga, in their pursuit of immortality, go to the extent of harming their own kin to take their place. Korimori even deceives the protagonist, urging them not to trust Haranaga. The feeding groundsman, trusting the falsehood from his own kin, becomes a perpetual puppet, with his life reduced to the singular act of feeding the carp, oblivious to the love of his two daughters. Even if one gains eternal life, what does it truly mean? The Carp King can only exist as a solitary being, and the price of eternal life is perpetual loneliness. The feeding groundsman, while attaining immortality, forsakes the beauty of familial bonds in his life. Eternal life seems to always come with a steep cost. It is not a blessing but a timeless curse. Things exist due to their opposition, much like black and white. Without black, how can white be defined as white? Death and life share a similar dynamic. It is death that makes life precious, and without death as its opposing force, life itself would lack its defining quality. Miyazaki perhaps repeatedly emphasizes that the pursuit of eternal life only brings endless pain and torment, leading individuals to overlook the truly precious aspects of life. The text suggests that we should appreciate the people and events around us, pursuing what is genuinely beautiful. Even if this beauty is transient and fleeting, we should not abandon the pursuit of it. That concludes the content of this video. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and like. Your support is my greatest motivation for creating more content.